Shumai, guys. Welcome back to the Life to the Full podcast, the podcast that helps you make the most of your time here on Earth. My name's Dav Morse. I'm your host. It is my job to educate and inspire, to encourage and equip you to live life to the full. Today, we have a special guest on the podcast. Today's guest is Olly Knight. Now, Olly is a friend of mine from way back in the day. We went to university together over 20 years ago. Flips. Over 20 years ago. We talk about all sorts of things. How he paid off his mortgage aged 41. And what does it mean to live life to the full? How to integrate work with family. How to balance a life where you're busy doing your work and you've got kids running around at home, balancing those kinds of things. We talk about some of the spiritual journey that Olly's been on and what kind of spiritual practices he uses today to feel connected with God. And it is quite an amusing, even if I do say so myself, amusing conversation, wide-ranging. So please enjoy my sit down with Olly Knight. One of the reasons that I wanted to get you on the podcast was to start with a question. You paid off your mortgage and you posted about it on Facebook. I thought that would be an interesting story. Seeing as we're talking finance, how did you decide that you were going to pay off your mortgage, and how did you actually do it? We'll get question. To the who are you and how do we know each other at some point. Probably sure. link it into our music career that we had together.
Huge music career. So how did I pay off my mortgage? So I inherited some money from my great-grandfather, Harry. He passed away many years ago, and I inherited a little bit of money, so like 20-30k from him, and I used half of that to get like a car, half of it to enjoy life a little bit, and then squirreled half of it away into a deposit for a house. And moved a couple of times, and the house that we've got at the moment, we bought it like fairly reasonably, but we've done a lot of work to it. So basically I was taught from a fairly young age, any money that you can throw into your mortgage once a month, even if it's 50 quid, if it's 100 quid, like just throw in any extra money, because it'll take down the years that you repay your mortgage just way down. So I just did that, and then any spare money I had at the end of the year that didn't go into savings, I just pop into the mortgage. So I was overpaying by like 10%. I think maximum Halifax would let me overpay would be 10% a year. So I was putting in like an extra 10-12 grand in a year. And then it got to the stage where you remember when the Liz Truss did something interesting with the economy.
Yeah, I remember it well.
So basically our mortgage rate was going from 1.8%. It's going all the way up to 6.4% because we remortgaged it like the worst. Well, it was kind of the worst time.
Oh, man, that is pretty bad timing.
Oh, it's horrible. It was horrible. So it was basically, do I want to put money away in savings and get 4%? On my savings, or do I want to try and pay off my mortgage and save 6% or odds kind of money? So I was like, well, it's a no-brainer. I may as well pay off my mortgage. So any money that I had for like 2 years, I just plow it into the mortgage. I was quite obsessive about it, and in the end I probably got down to like quite a small amount of savings, but I just chucked it into the mortgage. And then by April 2024, April 2025, I paid it off, and I thought it'd be like this huge, like life-changing event. But the next day, I just felt the same. But it's great. Just thinking like we own this house, and we were just very, very grateful. We sat down as a family on the sofa. We had a look at the bank account. I let the kids like transfer the last amount of money over to the mortgage, and then we all said a prayer together, said thanks to God for his provision for the money, and then we paid it off. But the thing is, I didn't want to be shy about the fact that we paid it off, just so I wouldn't offend anyone. So I was quite happy to tell people.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, it's like inspiring. A lot of people aspire to pay off their mortgages. I don't know if you know that I'm not actually one of them. I'm gonna hold as much debt as I can for a long time. But that's a topic for another day.
Brilliant.
But yeah, a lot of people really want to do it, and the fact that you've done it so early. I mean, you're quite young. You're not.
I'm 20.
20. Yeah.
I'm
we
41.
we went to university together.
Yeah,
and I'm 35. So you can be 35 as well.
Thanks, mate.
Yeah. So that's fascinating. I'm interested as well in your career. So you've said, I chucked 10, 12 grand at this mortgage, which is a phenomenal achievement, and it is dedication. Is this just a sign of your dedication to your craft over the last 14 years that you've...
Yeah, correct. 14 years. Yeah. You've been doing your homework.
I've been doing my little research. I'm going to ask you about your street photography project at some point as well.
Exciting.
But yeah, so we knew each other at university, and I always thought, this guy, he knows a thing or two about, how to look after his money, how to make some smart decisions.
Is that because I was tight?
I mean, I wasn't going to go there, but now that you've said it yourself,
Can I tell you, we used to go shopping together sometimes. Can I tell you my proudest meal that I bought when I was a student? It was a family reduced to clear pie in Tesco. Feeds a family of 4, down from £4 down to 10p. Bag of potatoes down from £1 down to 10p. Vegetables down from £1 to 10p, and something else down to 10p as well. I fed a household of 4 people for 40p, Davith. I mean, that's amazing, isn't it? Even back then.
That is the stuff of legends.
It is.
It is quite incredible. Sadly, no such excitement these days with 10p meat pies.
Not really.
More like £8 reduced to £7.80.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Liz. No, not everything's to blame on her.
Not everything.
Not everything.
So yeah, you then from university had a collection of careers, or I don't know if you'd call them careers, but a collection of things that you did to earn money before you did what you do now. So yeah, just talk us through as much as you want of that kind of experimental phase and now what you do.
Great. So after leaving university, I did some kind of little different temp jobs whilst I was working out what I really wanted to do. So probably my worst job was data research for a toilet and basin company. I had to ring up plumbers asking them what they installed, and none of them were very happy to talk to me. So that was quite hard. So my most bizarre job was dressing up as a deer and walking through Canterbury High Street and trying to give out leaflets for Wildwood, the nature reserve near Canterbury. And I got attacked by a group of youths outside McDonald's, and one of them tried to jump on me and simulated deer mating acts on top of me, which was horrible. So I felt scarred by that. Sorry for the in-depth detail, but I did some strange jobs after explicit. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I did some strange jobs, but I think it all started really properly when I started doing EFL, so teaching English as a foreign language. Really enjoyed that. Started part-time over the summers and then went into, kind of like a proper job. Did that for a little while, got bored, moved on to something else, thought I could become a driving instructor. So
I remember the driving instructor.
Oh, my life. So, I mean, it taught me good lessons about running my own business, but I just found it so, as a creative, I found it really, really stifling and didn't enjoy it too much. But there was this girl that I fancied at the time who dared me to call my driving school Knight Riders School of Motoring, because my surname is Knight. So she thought that'd be quite fun. And I accepted the dare, and she's now my wife. So
brilliant.
Dares sometimes work.
That is a phenomenal story.
Yeah, that was good.
I love that one. And for the younger listeners, go and Google Knight Rider.
Google Knight Rider.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Knight Rider for old people.
Half the students that I taught were university age. They didn't have a clue what Knight Riders was about. And one of the students said, "Oh, it sounded like an escort agency." I said, "Well, why did you book me then? That's really strange." So,
Maybe they were
weird.
hoping for something.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows? So I was driving instructor for a little while. Taught English as a foreign language. Tried secondary school teaching. Hats off to anyone that's taught in a secondary school, including yourself. I couldn't hack it. I lasted 6 weeks. The behaviour of the kids, couldn't deal with it. So
I mean, you didn't have the best school, to be honest.
No, I'm impressed you remember.
Yeah. Well, I
Not
think
naming any names, but
I had an interview at the same school.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I did not get that job, and I was so grateful that I did not get that job.
I bet. It was horrible. I had one student who tried to climb out the window during a lesson, and I just saw him like climbing out a window. I was like, "This is the pits. It's horrible.
This is the worst." And then bizarrely, when I moved to Cardiff and started working at the school that I was at for 8 or 9 years, one of the guys in the PE department had done his teacher training at said school. So,
really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And yeah, I was like, respect to you for getting through, because that was some school.
Yeah, it was. So lots of different jobs, mostly linked with teaching, until I found my dream job, I guess.
Your dream job. And now your dream job allows you to live life to the full. See what I did there? Yeah,
it's good. I like it.
Podcast title into the conversation. So, what is your job now?
My job now, I work as a wedding photographer, and often when I say wedding photographer to people, they imagine a bossy person rounding people up into a group, getting everyone to smile at the camera. But to be honest, that couldn't be further from the truth. So I love to photograph in a documentary style. So very hands off, not posed at all, just following the action in the day. And so for me, I'm a very kind of organised, orderly kind of person, but I love how weddings are so spontaneous, and I don't have a clue what's going to happen at a wedding day. So I'm literally just looking for what's happening in front of me, what the moments, the emotion, the connection between people, trying to use light, trying to use composition, trying to frame things well. And I'm just kind of creating, I guess, like art, like creating things like on the fly, and kind of trying to do that to the best of my ability, and trying to kind of feel the emotion as well, like be empathetic as I'm doing it. And I just love it. I adore it. I wouldn't want to be doing anything else. It's funny because my dream job in my head, when in my late teens, early 20s, was to be a music pastor, a worship pastor at a church. And I did that for a few years, kind of part-time alongside the photography. But in the end, doing that, there were elements that I enjoyed, but overall I didn't enjoy it anywhere near as much as I thought I would do. And it's when it's really interesting, like a very kind of clear direction in 2021 that was given to me, and ended up going back into wedding photography full time, and I've just absolutely adored it ever since. It's been brilliant. So yeah, it sounds like traditional and boring, but for me it's anything but. It's really life-giving. It's really amazing.
Yeah, I noticed that you kind of flitted around, got bored of a few things, and I can totally understand that. I can totally understand doing something for a while and then getting bored of it. But you seem to have found something that ticks, probably nothing ticks all of the boxes, but as much of the boxes as it can for just a wonderful job and a wonderful way of earning a living.
Yeah, I think so. I think I love creativity, so I'm able to kind of be creative at every wedding I go to. I love people. I love being around people. Often wedding photographers will want to kind of sit out the back and not talk to people as they're eating. But like, I want to be kind of at the table, talking to people, getting to know people. I've had some amazing conversations with people about like meaning of life and like, kind of photography and just so many deep conversations around the table. So I've loved that. And yeah, I think the only negatives I can ever think of, Dav, are probably having to work some weekends where I prefer not to. Like sometimes if I'm shooting overseas, like sometimes a little bit of time away from the family, which isn't ideal. But even those situations, I've tried to make work for us as a family. So like, we'll make a holiday out of a destination wedding that I've got, for example. So just trying to make it work for us. The only bad thing is if I ever like fell really ill, I've had this happen to me once at a wedding where all of a sudden I've just come down with like a really, really bad, like, kind of sickness and whatever else kind of bug.
Man.
And that was not a pretty night. That was horrible. That's the only negative I can really think of.
That is horrendous. Yeah. I mean, I got married a long time ago, and my wedding photographer...
18 years? 19 years?
20
years.
20 years, yeah.
Congrats.
So, yeah, put out an episode this in the summer or in September about lessons that I've learned on the 20 years of marriage that I've had so far. And yeah, it's great. So that kind of links us in, I guess, to something else that I'd love to hear your thoughts on, your family life, because, I'm a big fan of marriage. I'm a big fan of, family, having kids. And you've done something which, again, not many people do, but I don't know, it's down to your creativity. You have somehow got your son into photography, and he's actually done professional wedding shoots with you.
He has.
Yeah. So like you're integrating family life into work life, and so it's all just one. I mean, this is my dream, to have like everything all together. Some people like to have their lives separate, so they've got their work life separate from their family life, separate from their church life or whatever it is. But for me, seems like a pretty cool thing to do. Was that intentional?
So I think I've always tried to involve my family in like my world and work world wherever I can. Like even when it comes to like chatting to them about work or getting the kids interested in photography or music. And it was during lockdown when I was leading worship online each weekday morning, something that I ran called Come and Sing With Me. I got the kids involved, and like it was really fun. And I just thought, it's so much better getting the kids involved in what I'm doing rather than me being separate from them and them not really understanding. So I think when it came to photography, the kids were naturally just quite interested in what I did with the camera. So Caleb really was interested. So last Christmas we got him his first camera, a little Canon RP camera that he could use day to day, and then also if he ever joined me at any weddings. And his first experience of a wedding was when a couple, I was photographing a wedding in the Alps, and a couple said to me, your family, you're making a holiday of it, that's fantastic, your family will be out with you, do you want like your son Caleb, does he want to come out on the hike in the morning with us, just to get some pictures? And I was like, yeah, that'd be such a nice experience. So it was great having him along. The only thing that I found was I still had to parent as well as do the photography. So picture the scene. We turn up in the car at the base of this, kind of mountain near Chamonix in the Alps. And we close the doors of the hire car. It was the couple called Del and Winnie. They'd hired this car, and, I'd left my camera bag in the boot, and Winnie had left her phone and stuff in the car. And And we went up, we thought we'd locked the car, went up on, the mountain, came back after the hike. It had been about an hour and a half, and came back, and one of the back doors was wide open, and it was where Caleb had been sitting. And I was like, oh, flip, all my camera gear's in the boot. Winnie's phone is in the front. It's her wedding day. Like, this is horrendous. Thankfully, nothing was taken, even though we'd been gone an hour and a half. But I came back home to Canterbury after the holiday and looked through all the images, and I'd been shooting through the moment. So I'd been shooting through when Del and Winnie got out the car and they'd, started to make their way up towards the mountain. And I noticed in the background, Caleb had opened the car door, had forgotten to shut it, and then had wandered round and then had joined me. So I literally saw photographic evidence he left the car door open. And I was like, Caleb. But it was, it just reminded me that I still need to parent. So when it came to Caleb doing his first full wedding with me, I was very much in tune with the idea of, I want to be creative for the couple. I want to do all this stuff, but also I want to look out for my son, and I want to try and parent him as well when I can. So this was another extreme wedding. So this was in Umbria in Italy in August this year, and he was with me the whole day. And picture the scene, Davith. It was 39 degrees centigrade all day. Wowzers. And Caleb was roasting alive, and he gets very hot when he gets very red when he's hot. And I was basically having to say to him, like, go in the shade, like, you drink these drinks. It was his best day ever because he got to have 4 Coca-Colas in the day, and so like it was like best day ever. He loved it, just to keep him going. And like, bless him, he kept on going all day, and he didn't want to leave the dance floor at kind of 11:30 midnight, that kind of time, and he loved it. Well, what I really appreciated was, I think because he's been brought up with us, with our friends around, with church community, so he's used to holding his own in a bunch of before a bunch of adults. So he was chatting to everyone, he was getting on with everyone, and people would come up to me in the afternoon and say, oh, you Caleb's dad, rather than, is Caleb your son? So they'd be like, oh, you chatted to Caleb, he's great, he's really nice, he must be really proud. And I was, because he got on well with people, and I just thought, what an amazing opportunity for that little guy, just to be able to build a portfolio. And if he decides to go into it one day, which he says he does, then he's going to have some great images to be able to use. There's this one image where the bride and groom are walking into their wedding breakfast. All the guests are waving their napkins in the air. Caleb's shooting from a first floor window, and all manual mode on the camera is just working it all out. And then he's composed it so beautifully that you've got the hills of Umbria in the background, the rolling hills, like all the natural beauty, and then all the emotion of people, waving and cheering them in. And I said to Caleb, literally, if I'd have taken that photo, that would be on my homepage. I love it. I adore it. And he's taken it, and he was only 12 at the time, and I love that. So yeah, a long answer to the question. I've loved having him involved. That's
brilliant. And can you imagine if you're like 13 years old and then you decide, I'm going to do wedding photography, and then get yourself set up, go and shoot a few weddings. I mean, I can't. It'd be brilliant. I mean, so it would be quite a punt by the bride and groom to hire a 13-year-old photographer.
I think this is the thing. I think it was a special case, I think, because the bride and groom really wanted me to be free on their wedding day, and I kind of declared myself out originally because I was actually, it's so bizarre, I was photographing another wedding in Umbria the day before this wedding. And so I was already out in Umbria in Italy, but we'd made a family holiday of it, and we'd holidayed with our friends the Duffys and the Segals, and we'd kind of hired a big old villa and stuff. But I said to this other couple, look, I don't want to be working 2 days in a row, and they kind of sweetened the deal for me, and they said, oh, you could bring along your son if you want. And then I was like, oh, that'd be such a nice opportunity for him. And so I said, yeah, let's do it. So it sweetened the deal for me.
That's cool. You went on holiday with the Duffys and the Segals. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Was that like a one-off? We're doing it for our big 40ths and all that kind of stuff, or do you regularly go on holiday with?
So it was for Martin's 40th. So my friend, and he leads the church that I'm part of in Canterbury, and it kind of wanted to make a holiday of it, and I said to them, I'm already doing a wedding out in Umbria at this time, do you want to come out? And they were like, yes. We hired a villa, and we've been away with the Duffys before. We went to Centre Parks, but it's the first time that we've holidayed as 3 families. It was lovely. It was really, really lovely, and fun. I mean, the kids love it as well. They've got their mates around. They've got a pool. They don't care too much that it's roasting. We tried to do a few like little city trips and a few little days out, but it was just so hot.
Yeah.
It was just it's crazy hot.
If you're like 12, 13 years old and you're just in Italy with a pool with all your mates, that's just
cracking.
Yeah, that's just winning at life, isn't it?
It's so cool. It's so cool. Just trying to, I guess, like give my kids the experiences that I think will be really good for them and formative for them. And just, I guess just expose them to different cultures, different countries. And it's a privilege being able to do that. So, yeah. Yeah.
You mentioned working weekends. Is it hard to balance? Right, because I think you only do like 30? No, how many weddings do you do a year?
Like 20 to 25, so 25. Not too many. So I mean, if they were all on Saturdays, it would be every other week. But thankfully, lots of midweek as well. So I'd probably say it's like maybe 15 Saturdays a year, and then maybe 10 midweek. So I try not to work Sundays wherever possible, and it would be a few in the week. But if I'm shooting overseas, then that would be 3 or 4 days away, so that's something else to kind of consider and factor in.
Yeah, nice. Right, where can we go next? Should we talk about our music career? I mentioned when we first met, I thought this guy he's frugal is the right word, but also, you and I served on the Christian Union Exec Committee. You were the worship coordinator there, and I was the guy who did Bible study and prayer, which was
brilliant.
It was quite fun. And so, we used to do some amusing sketch comedy songs as 20-somethings.
Yeah.
I just thought it'd be funny to do it. But you carried on. I left my music career at the door at university. But you've carried on your music career. I noticed you've chosen a few more comedy partners to do some things with. Do you do less of the comedy stuff these days?
Well, I think the only time that I'm writing like a fairly funny song would be for my photography podcast, which we just celebrated our first birthday this morning. So we've been going
Happy
a year.
Birthday. Shout out to the Framed podcast.
Framed podcast, yeah. So to be honest, the only comedy songs I'm doing are for guests that come onto the show, and I'll do a funny little song that I'll record on Logic like the night before. But I'm not like I don't know. It was really fun. We used to cover. What did we used to cover? The Office. There was a song from The Office. Was it like Free Love on the Free Love Freeway? We used to sing that.
Free love on the free love freeway.
On the free love freeway. The freeway's long and I can't remember the rest of it, but it was great. Really fun.
We wrote a song called "If You Were an Insect on My Body."
Yeah, or if I was an insect on your body.
Yeah,
I think and then I think after a few years, I then did a few comedy songs with our friend Shane Thatcher, who did you know Shane?
Yeah.
Yeah, you knew Shane, and we did some songs about. I think one was on swine flu, one was on the volcanic ash that erupted from Iceland that one time that caused lots of travel mayhem. Lots of different subjects really. So that was fun. But I think to be honest, it's mostly been serious music or kind of worship music from then to now. To be honest, yeah.
Yeah, you're still doing a lot of worship music, like leading at church and.
Yeah, so like I serve them. No, not since 2013.
2013, there we
go. The Christian scene. You are, yeah. You guys do your own thing. But I still serve once a month at church, lead worship, and I preach maybe a couple of times a term, maybe once a term at City Church. And so to be honest, I don't really tend, because I used to do a few conferences and events that I used to lead worship at, like Keswick, Word Alive, and what other things? Yeah, Mobilise back in the day, and UCCF Forum, those kind of things. But I kind of just felt like it was time to stop and time to concentrate on photography. And so I kind of, there's different seasons in life, aren't there? And I think one thing that's been really kind is that God's usually indicated like quite strongly, like what season this will be, and what shouldn't be in this season. So I kind of felt quite guided by him, which is good.
Yeah, fascinating stuff. Great segue to spiritual health.
Oh.
Like I said, we mentioned we were on the Christian Union exec together, and so you and I have been Christians a long time, and so give us a little bit of an idea of maybe what spiritual health means to you. What does it mean to be spiritually healthy? What kind of practices have you got? And particularly interested in when you said you feel like God's speaking to you for different seasons of life, putting things down, picking things up. How does that look on a practical basis? What is it? What do you do? You've got a morning routine or?
Yeah, it's a great question. Thanks, man. I love Jesus' description of abiding in the vine, and so us being, kind of grafted into this vine, and to be able to know how to be with God rather than just doing things for God. Actually, what does it mean to abide? What does it mean to spend time with God? What does it mean to know God? So I think quite a few of my practices would be my daily morning routine. So I'll get the kids up in the morning, I'll hand them their Bibles, and then I'll come downstairs and shut myself away in my study for a little bit, which is where I'm speaking to you from now. And I'll sit on the sofa behind, I'll open up scripture, and I usually read maybe a chapter a morning, and then just spend some time in stillness and in prayer. And something that us as a family do each Monday, we'll have a time of gratitude. So just like thank God for the things that we're grateful for. So generally for me, it will be, God, him, sending his son, him dying for me. And then it'll be other things in my life, like my family, my job, my church, and things like that. So I tend to find that morning routine really helps me focus and really helps me abide. And then I have other things, it's so important for me to be able to be part of the church community. So to be able to worship with my family on a Sunday, to be able to hear God's word spoken. So I love that. And also like having a Sabbath. So having like one day where it's completely off work. Because you spoke earlier on about how, work and, kind of life can be intermeshed. But I think my cutoff point would be, I don't want to be working all the time, and I want a definite day off a week, and I want a definite few weeks off a year where I'm not thinking about work, I'm not doing work. And for me, I even go to the extreme of putting my phone and all my computers and everything like that just like completely off for a whole 24-hour period, and just so I'm not tempted to check messages, I'm not on WhatsApp, I'm not on emails, all that kind of stuff. And I take that to even more of an extreme when I'm on holiday. I'll just have my phone off for the whole week, and because I run my own business, that could be perceived as business suicide, like that's really bad for your business. But actually, I'm trusting in someone greater than my next paycheck. I'm trusting ultimately that it will do me good and it will keep me sane rather than be switched on to work the whole time, because you definitely need time to recharge and time off work.
Absolutely. There's so much to take from that. The idea of the Sabbath and having a day off, but then obviously having a longer period off, which for those uninitiated is pretty much mandated in the Bible. In the Old Testament, you've got these laws about taking Sabbath. Sabbath is a day for not doing any work, and a day for remembering that the Lord is our Saviour. And periods of Sabbath, like festivals for, so you take a week off or that kind of thing. And you kind of think, oh, we don't need to do that anymore. This book, this Bible, what is it really relevant to us today? But actually, there is an incredible wisdom that is in that, and taking that time off is great.
Yeah.
I'm not quite as hardcore as you to turn off my phone completely on a Sunday, but I do like to certainly leave it behind as much as possible.
Yeah. I think that's good. Have any books or any like authors like influenced your thinking in terms of like, kind of Sabbath or slowing down? Like one book that's really influenced me is The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry by John Mark Comer. I found that really helpful.
Yeah, I've heard of that one, and I've had it recommended to me a couple of times, but got to be honest, I haven't gone for it. I just really like the idea of taking time off.
I love the way you say heard. Heard.
Yeah, heard. If you think about that Bible verse that does say about not working on the Sabbath, the thing that actually spoke to me was you should do your work for 6 days and have a day off. Whereas I certainly lean towards let's take as many days off as we can.
How does your week look, Dav?
It varies. This week is a particularly quiet week because some of my school work is not on this week, and then some of my tutees have got like mocks on or concerts on or that kind of thing. But generally, I'm in school Monday and Thursday mornings, so I just rock up and teach further maths to the sixth form, and it's great. And then I probably do, 10, 12 hours of tutoring, something like that, a week. And then the rest of it is just doing things like the podcast. And if there's any voiceover work that comes in, I'll just do it then. And then
I didn't know you did voiceover work as well.
Yeah, I think AI is bringing an end to that.
Boo.
Yeah.
Oh, AI.
Our mutual friend Andy Shev, who was on the podcast episode 11, maybe.
Oh.
That was way back in like lockdown times. He used to be not a full-time voiceover artist, but that's what he did for all of his income. But I think he varies things up a little bit now. I am the voice of the swimming pool announcement in the international pool in Cardiff Bay.
That is amazing. What kind of things do you have to say?
Something along the lines of, when you go down the slide, don't go down head first. Make sure you have fun, but keep safe. That kind of thing. I've had a few people come up to me and say, I was in the international swimming pool in Cardiff Bay, and I heard this voice. Was it you? Yeah, that was me.
That's amazing they spotted it. That's great.
Yeah.
I think we've always definitely been a fan of you and your voice, Dav, particularly because, you were our only Welsh friend in Canterbury, and we just used to lap up your accent. I could hear you speak all day, and so I think it baffles me why I haven't been listening to your podcast, because I love listening to your voice.
Yeah, check it out, Ollie. There's loads of good stuff on there.
I need to.
Loads of good stuff. Brilliant. There's one question which I always like to ask my guests, and that question is, what does living life to the full mean to you?
That's a great question.
If you listen to the podcast, you'd know it's coming up and prepare something.
I love on purpose not preparing anything and just seeing what comes to mind. Probably just watching Netflix. Yeah.
Life to the full, watching Netflix. You heard it here first, folks.
No.
If you want a satisfying and fulfilling life.
Although the new Stranger Things series is absolutely brilliant. Enjoying that. I think living life to the full. Obviously, the quote originally comes from Jesus, doesn't it? So I'd come and give life and life in all its abundance. And yeah, I love the fact that living in a relationship with God, I know that I can have fullness of life because he has given me this life. And then I think also knowing how God's made me. So God's made me relational and he's made me creative. So I know that if I'm tapping into creativity, like through my job, through music, whatever, and then if I'm, surrounding myself with people that I love and people that I'm interested in being around, then I know that will, kind of make my life fuller. And I think, I don't know, just like, We'll always like planning little things, like little trips away and like going to, the theatre or like, meals out, whatever. And just being able to have little treats to look forward to. I think that's really fun as well. But I think deep down, I feel satisfied in my relationship with God. I feel very much like I love and I cherish my family, and being part of the church community is so important. And yeah, just feeling really fulfilled in work. I think those kind of things will come together to, kind of asking the question, am I living life to the full? And I think there's always the times where you think like, oh, could I be doing more? But I don't know. I think sometimes if I'm taking on less, and if I'm saying no to things, actually that can enrich my life as well, just because I don't always need to be a yes man. I can have my boundaries, and sometimes those boundaries can preserve my life as well, rather than trying to spread myself too thinly. I can just give time to the things that I think I'm made for or good at, rather than trying to say yes to everything all the time. So yeah, I think those kind of things come to mind when I think of living life to the full.
Nice. My philosophy is always one of, what can I do less of? So I'm wired that way, to think, how can I make this more efficient? How can I earn a living by working less or whatever it is? And I'm really enjoying the creative element of my life, like doing the podcast.
Yeah.
I'm doing 15, 20 hours a week of like work, but even then it is work that I have kind of chosen, kind of enjoy. I work with lovely students. I don't work with people trying to climb out the windows anymore.
That's good, and it's so good, isn't it? If you really really enjoy what you're doing, and if you're loving the teaching and tutoring, like it's just it makes Mondays or whenever your first day is working on the week, it just makes them not something to dread but something to look forward to, and I think that's so important. I love that about work. Dav, I didn't talk earlier on, but so with Framed, I talked about the podcast briefly, but I think that's a big part of my life as well. So the education side. So I teach and train photographers, basically people that want to become wedding photographers, and it's wonderful because these last couple of years I've been mentoring 4 people, and they've all pretty much gone full time now as wedding photographers, and they're shooting weddings that they're really enjoying. They've started to win awards for their work, and it's really really satisfying, like seeing them come through. So I think the education side was always, I was kind of going through different jobs in my 20s, but then ultimately it's led to education now in photography, and I really enjoy that. So that's cool. And also seen something really amazing happen this year, which is one of the people that I mentor come to faith as well. So like whenever they photographed weddings in churches, they'd have like this feeling of like, oh, like otherness and like wow, like just transcendence, and just this feeling of like, wow, there must be a God. And then they talked to me about it. I got to talk them through like what it means to follow God, and then pray together, and it's been wonderful to see that happen as well. So it's been fantastic.
That is pretty cool. I am I like to do all the things, and I want to do all the things, and I am limited in my capacity in terms of the time that I have to do various things. I'd love to be a wedding photographer. There was a one stage where I used to take my cameras to weddings and just like play around and try and do things. But if ever I want to become a pro wedding photographer, I'm going to come and learn from the man himself.
You're more than welcome. You'd be a hit at weddings. People would love you. You'd be great.
I would really love it.
Yeah. Weddings are so fun.
Yeah, they are, and I love weddings. I love marriage.
Yeah,
and
marriage is so important.
Do you know what's bizarre? This is relatively irrelevant, but I started liking posts on Threads. I don't know if you're on Threads a lot. The Instagram equivalent of Twitter, and I've started liking posts of people getting engaged and celebrating like anniversaries, and now like half of my feed is full of just people saying, we're celebrating 30 years of marriage today, 3 years of marriage today, she said yes, we're engaged, we're going to be together forever. And I was like, this is just uplifting.
Maybe I should do that and start liking all those posts, and then it might lead to more business.
Exactly. You're maxed out on business now. You're fully booked for 2020. Whatever.
So I'm not quite. So I've got I think I've got 15 in the diary for 2026, and I've got space for maybe like another 5 or so. So nice. Yeah, doing all right. Not fully booked yet, but yeah.
So if you want a wedding photographer and you want to get married somewhere really exotic, then Olly Knight's your man. Check out his website, Olly Knight Photography. Street photography. We didn't even talk about street photography.
Oh, do it.
Yeah. What made you do street photography, and what is street photography, and how does it differ from any other kind of photography? And the big question, on everybody's mind is, do you ask to take photos of people? That's on my mind anyway.
Interesting question. Street photography is basically photographing a scene in front of you, typically in a city, although it can be at the beach or it can be wherever. And it's unposed usually, and usually capturing the essence of where you are and the personalities of the people in front of you. So the law states that it's not against the law to photograph strangers in public, and not even kids actually, although I wouldn't ever get close-ups of kids in public, I don't think. But yeah, so it's legal to do. If anyone ever questioned me in public and just said, why are you doing this, I'd just tell them. And if they said, can you delete that picture, I'd just delete it in front of them. That's fine, no problems. I've never had anybody ask. It's basically just I love doing it because it makes me try and create something out of nothing. So at weddings, there's always stuff going on. There's always like hugs and tears and emotion and all that kind of stuff. But on the street, there's hardly any of that, unless people are feeling extra loved up that day, or some kind of special occasion. There's not really much of that going on. So I love just pushing myself and thinking, how can I make an interesting composition here? How can I use maybe graffiti or like stuff on like a wall or a sign just to juxtapose with something going on? So some of my favorite street images are when it's like, I don't know, like no trespassing on the grass, and then there's like, I don't know, somebody like tiptoeing on the grass, or do you know what I mean? Like kind of little juxtapositions, like funny little things going on. So I like those. And yeah, do it sometimes in London, do it in Brighton. Like I run street days for people that I teach and for other people that are interested, like maybe once or twice a year. So it's good fun. I love it. And I find that the more I do street, then the better I get at weddings, because then if I can make something up from nothing, then I can make something up from something at a wedding.
Yeah. Have you ever considered becoming one of those Instagram photographers that goes around saying, "Oh, you look really cute. Can I take a photo? I am a social media photographer, and I put stuff up on my social media." You look really cute
No.
together. No?
No.
No, okay.
It's not my bag, but I see it pop up on Instagram.
Yeah, I got stopped by one of these photographers the other day.
Oh, hence the question. Yeah,
Hence
let's
the
talk.
question.
Yeah. You look cute, David.
Well, I was with my girls. They said, "Oh, Owenna, you look." Oh, they didn't know who she was. Oh, your daughter looks so cute. Can I take some photos? And he just hit 1,000 followers, and I was like, "Oh, well done, mate. That's quite an achievement, getting 1,000 followers." And now it's like 4 weeks later, and he's almost on 10,000 followers already.
Whoa, that's to do with your photo.
I'm pretty sure it is. Got cute kids.
Claim it.
Although she was really, really, really grumpy. She was on a bike and she wasn't keen.
Did she kind of like growl at the camera, like frown?
No, the guy was actually pretty friendly, and he made her laugh, and she kind of warmed up a little bit.
That's sweet.
Olly Knight, thank you very much for coming on the podcast. It's been an absolute blast.
You're welcome.
I knew you wouldn't disappoint with the comedy, the story, the vibes, the enthusiasm, the encouragement for people to live life to the full. And I know there's people that listen to this podcast who are Christians, and there's people that listen to this podcast who aren't Christians. But that idea of at least finding out about Jesus being the vine and abiding in him, if you're feeling any sort of spiritual inclination, find a friendly church near where you are, and yeah, just explore, ask questions. There we go. Till next time. Peace out.
Thanks, David.